Luzon residents are gearing up for heavy downpour as another LPA enters the PAR, while Tropical Storm Dante maintains its strength. Senator Manny Pacquiao blasts his PDP Laban party mate and Energy Secretary Alfonso Cusi for supposedly prioritizing politics over the power supply issues currently hounding Luzon. Albay 2nd District Representative Joey Salceda claims that Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte will surely run for president in 2022. He says the presidential daughter is now consolidating supporters. But despite speculations that President Rodrigo Duterte might be running for vice president, Salceda says a Duterte-Duterte tandem is unlikely. And Kiefer Ravena's contract to play in the Japanese B-League is now up in the air because of his ongoing commitments with the PBA. Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's everything you need to know as you jumpstart your day. I'm Charles Lejano. Kicking off today's newscast with tropical cyclone wind signals being lifted in Visayas and Mindanao. This as Tropical Storm Dante continues to move northwestward this morning. Because of this, only Zambales and the western portion of Pangasinan are still under signal number 2 as of 5 a.m. today. While signal number 1 is raised over the central portion of Pangasinan, Bataan, Tarlac, and Pampanga, as well as the western portions of Bulacan, Cavite, and Batangas, including Lubang Island. Tropical Storm Dante has maintained its strength as it passed through Batangas, Cavite, Bataan, and Zambales overnight, while another low-pressure area east of southern Luzon has entered the Philippine area of responsibility. To discuss these weather updates, we have Chris Perez joining us on the line from the Pag-asa Weather Forecasting Center. Good morning, Chris. So where is Tropical Storm Dante right now?
Good morning, Charles. So far, the center of Tropical Storm Dante was estimated at about 25 kilometers southwest of Iba, Zambales. Now, it's already offshore. However, given the diameter of the storm, that's the one reason why we still have warning signals number 2 and 1 over the provinces that you have mentioned earlier. Dante is expected to move north, then northeast in the next 3 days, and may possibly dissipate into a low-pressure area by Saturday morning. However, we will continue to provide 3 or 6 hourly updates about Dante, and the next update will be about 8 a.m. today.
Right, so several parts of the country has experienced heavy rainfall. So how many times exactly has Dante made landfall, and is it expected to make landfall again today?
Well, Dante has made landfall 8 times, beginning on June 1 at around 8:30 p.m. at Sulat Eastern Samar. And then the second landfall was at Kataingan, Masbate. Then the third landfall at Balud, Masbate. Fourth landfall at Romblon, Romblon. Fifth at San Agustin, Romblon. Sixth at Pola, Oriental, Mindoro. The seventh landfall at Maricaban Island, Tingloy, Batangas. And then the eighth landfall at Calatagan, Batangas. Now, since at the moment its center is offshore, we're not expecting Dante to make any ninth landfall, but we will continue to monitor and get updates with regards to the direction, movement, and intensity of Dante within the next 3 to 4 days.
So, Chris, is Dante still expected to have any direct effect on Metro Manila, particularly the warm weather?
Well, as of today, Dante has no direct effect. However, Metro Manila is still expected to experience cloudy skies and scattered rain showers and thunderstorms.
Right, so Chris, given this current trajectory and speed, when will Dante exit the PAR?
Well, Dante expected to move north, then possibly by Saturday when it's almost at the southern tip of Taiwan, it is expected to weaken into a low-pressure area. It is expected to weaken inside the area of responsibility by Saturday morning.
Chris, let's talk about this other low-pressure area. Is there a chance for this LPA east of southern Luzon to develop into a tropical depression, and does this currently have any effect on today's weather?
Well, at the moment, it has no direct effect to any landmass of the country, and it has slim chance of becoming into a tropical cyclone within 24 hours. But we will continue to monitor and provide updates, especially it is expected to affect the eastern seaboard of Luzon and Visayas within the next 24 hours.
Thank you for those updates, and we'll hear from you again. That was Pag-asa weather forecaster Chris Perez. Meanwhile, some Quezon City residents worry about catching COVID-19 as they prepare to evacuate due to Tropical Storm Dante. Jenny Dawn with the details.
While Tropical Storm Dante is still far from Metro Manila, residents of Barangay Tatalon and Quezon City have already geared up. According to Pagasa's forecast, rainy season will start this weekend.
Base po dun sa projections, malaki po yung chance na magde-declare na tayo ng tag-ulan. At ito po, ang proof po nito ay yung ma-observe na rainfall sa western sections ng ating bansa.
Many Tatalon residents are ready to evacuate anytime soon since they've already experienced multiple floods in the past, even with minimal rain. But Sally doesn't want to for fear of catching COVID-19.
Sa kapitbahay, market kami dyan. O kaya, yung bubong dun sa kabila, kumakatok kami dun sa kapitbahay sa taas.
Christy's family has the same sentiments, and it's not like they haven't gotten accustomed to the flood anyway. They ought to stay at their house 5th floor where provisions are also at the ready.
Meron naman po kaming naka-raiding sa taas kami. Tapos, siyempre, yung mga paninda, di pag wala kami, di yung kainin namin. May tindahan naman po kami. Tapos, yung mga, dapat po mga mababasa, inakit na po namin ng mabuti.
NDRMC spokesperson Mark Timbal tells One News that those who will evacuate should still comply with health protocols.
Please make sure that you keep yourselves protected. Wear your face mask, your face shield, observe physical distancing to ensure that you will also be protected against COVID-19.
He also advised those in hazard-prone areas to always stay abreast with the latest weather bulletin.
They have to coordinate with the local government units, especially the barangays. If these authorities inform them that there is already the need for evacuation, please make sure that you obey these instructions. And when you evacuate,
The Metro Manila Development Authority and Metro Manila mayors visited some pumping stations and flood-prone areas in the capital.
Ito ay nagpapump ng 7 cubic meter per second. No? So dapat ito tuloy-tuloy. Kung hindi tumuloy-tuloy ito, magkakaroon tayo ng baha sa area na to. Ang problema, hanggang Makati, pwede magbaha.
MMDA Chairman Benher Abalos also made sure that garbage won't pile up in drainage systems. For News 5, Jenny Dongon, we are One News.
Tropical Storm Dante has caused nearly 8 million pesos in estimated agricultural damage. This after Dante ravaged parts of Mindanao, causing floods and destruction of rice and cornfields. Government authorities are still assessing the actual damage in other regions of the country.
Sir, ang heavily affected po talaga nito ay based upon the initial assessments po na ginagawa ng ating mga regional disaster councils ay sa Mindanao area. Based upon the initial assessment to the damages to agriculture, we already lost 7,930,000 pesos worth of rice and corn crops in Region 12 alone.
Meanwhile, COVID-19 precautions are practiced in evacuation centers, as those with symptoms are diverted to quarantine facilities or hospitals. Physical distancing is also being observed, this amid some people's fears of catching the virus while in evacuation centers.
If one of our evacuees, supposed evacuees, exhibit or manifest symptoms of any respiratory disease or fever at the very least, they should not be brought to the evacuation center, but instead they should be brought to the nearest quarantine facility or, depending on the health condition, to a hospital so that they can be given proper assistance. This is a reiteration of the adjustments that we have done back in the rainy season, starting in the rainy season of 2020, wherein we integrated the COVID-19 protection protocols.
The Energy Department looks into filing charges against power suppliers as the NCR and nearby provinces continue to experience rotational brownouts due to insufficient power supply. But a consumer advocacy group blames the DOE, saying that all of this could have been avoided. This report from Gamin Samonte.
The rainy weather could have played a role, but demand in the Luzon grid was low on Wednesday. Add to that the early synchronization of the Sual Coal Plant Unit 2. This prompted the National Grid Corporation of the Philippines to lift the 13-hour red and yellow alerts in Luzon ahead of schedule. But prior to this, the Energy Department said that the island's reserve supply has turned negative.
Ibig sabihin, mas marami na ang nangangailangan ng kuryente at mas konti na yung pwedeng magbigay na generators. Ito ay dahilan sa mga nasisira at hindi umaandar na bigla ang tumitirik na mga power plant.
NGCP data showed that the Luzon grid's peak demand of 11,515 megawatts far exceeds its available capacity of 11,260 megawatts. As a result, Metro Manila cities and nearby provinces experienced rotational brownouts. The DOE is looking into filing charges against airing power suppliers. The agency prohibits preventative maintenance in the second quarter when demand is high.
Pinapaaral po namin kung ito po ay isang krimen that is tantamount to economic sabotage. Pangatlo, tinitingnan din po natin, what happened to the required reserves? Dahil tama, may nasisira mga planta. Does it happen? May nakikita ba tayong mga numero based on historical? Sabi niyo ba, nangyari na dati? Nangyari na nga po, kaya hinahanap natin yung level of reserve. Ibig sabihin, kung magkakaroon ng sira ang planta, nasaan yung mga kapalit?
The Energy Regulatory Commission has already directed generation companies to explain their unplanned outages that breach allowable cap. But for Laban Consumer, the DOE is to blame. They say this is a yearly occurrence which could be prevented.
Tayo po ay may kinakaharapang pagtaas ng presyo na babayaran nating kuryente. Yan po dahilan ng hindi kapabayaan I would say hindi ginawa ang kanilang trabaho ng Department of Energy.
Energy Secretary Alfonso Cusi defended the agency, saying they have no control over the simultaneous plant breakdowns.
Beyond our control, na nasira ang 4 na planta na sabay-sabay.
Rotational brownouts in Luzon are expected to last until June 7. For News 5, Camille Samonte, we are One News.
Senator Manny Pacquiao called Energy Secretary Al Cusi incompetent following the unexpected rotational power outages in Luzon. This comes on the heels of a widening rift between members of the ruling party. Man Los Baños with the details.
Politics over energy. For Senator Manny Pacquiao, this has become the priority of Energy Secretary Alfonso Cusi. In a privileged speech, Pacquiao put the blame on Cusi for the rotational brownouts in Luzon. He says the interruptions could affect storage capacity for COVID-19 vaccines and in turn damage President Duterte's image.
5 years ago, Secretary Cusi declared that there is no looming power crisis. And here we are, having brownouts, Mr. President. Nasa red alert pa naman tayo ngayon. Pinagkatiwalaan ka dyan ng Pangulo, nilagay ka dyan dahil tiwalat siya sa'yo. He is incompetent sa posisyon na yan dyan.
But Senate Minority Leader Franklin Drilon asked Pacquiao whether the tirade was only motivated by Pacquiao and Cusi's rift within PDP Laban.
Nakatanggap ako ng tawag. Baka naman nag-privilege speech at privilege speech si Senator Pacquiao. Dahilan po nag-aaway sila sa partido ni Secretary Cusi. At ang sinasabi, away ng mga politiko yan. Hindi tama yung, hindi kami naniniwala na yan po ay dahilan sa paniniwala ng Senator Pacquiao na talagang may pagkukulang si Secretary Cusi. Ayaw ko pong paniwalaan ito.
Para po sa accountability po nating lahat na sa gobyerno, ang sinasabi ko, yung problema namin sa parito, huwag niyo pong alalahanin yan, maliit lang po yan na problema at parang away ng pamilya, magkakapatid po at resolbahan po namin yan sa loob ng bahay namin.
Cusi is the vice chairman of ruling party PDP Laban, while Pacquiao sits as its acting president. The feud between the two worsened when Cusi led the party's National Council meeting in Cebu, despite the lawmakers' efforts to block it. During the meeting, members adopted a resolution to convince the president to run for vice president in 2022. They're also giving him a free hand to pick his running mate. But according to Cusi, they still have a process in selecting their standard bearer. When asked if Pacquiao could run for the top post, Cusi quipped, "Everything is fluid."
Ngayon, yung possibility naman po ba na si Manny Pacquiao po, si Senator Pacquiao, si Pangulong Duterte maging tandem? Sabi ko nga po, wala naman, hindi ko, authoritatively, masasagot ko yun. Hindi po. Kasi everything is fluid. Kanina po, sinasabi ko nga kanina, malay natin, baka si Kong Joey ang masabi.
PDP Laban is set to reconvene on July 17, and among the agenda is a possible change in leadership. Reporting for News 5, Mean Los Baños, we are One News.
Albay 2nd District Representative Joey Salceda has confirmed that Davao City Mayor and presidential daughter Sara Duterte is running for president in 2022. In an interview with 1PH's Sa Totoo Lang, Salceda said Sara Duterte is now in talks with several parties to support her presidential bid. However, Duterte-Carpio's camp refused to comment on Salceda's pronouncements. Recall that just like her father before the 2016 polls, Sara Duterte-Carpio has previously insisted that she will not go after the presidency.
Maraming pa akong exchange of text with her, and I can tell you that she's really running. Para sa akin, as an analyst, I will always keep on analyst who will win in 2022. I think it will be Sara. She has what it takes. I think although it's a Duterte, but I think she represents a change.
Despite signing the party resolution urging President Duterte to run for VP, Salceda revealed that a Duterte-Duterte tandem might not happen. Speaking with the chiefs, the lawmaker said that Sara Duterte-Carpio has better chances at the presidency by striking alliances with those outside Mindanao.
Because if you want to ensure you're winning, you better have a geographical balance. Pero sa pananaw ko, bottom line yan, ay sa 2022, si Sara will run with somebody. Not necessarily her pa. I'm just a small fish in a big pond. All I'm saying is that Sara will run, and if she wants to win, she better have a different
Okay, so
And that's how the day is shaping up to be. Join us later at 10 a.m. as we monitor the day's biggest stories from sunrise to sundown. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Just register for a free account at www.signalplay.com so you can stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Charles Lejano. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.